Everyone wants to make $1 million betting sports, but most people are going about it the wrong way. And honestly, it doesn't take much, because you can build a $1 million bankroll with a win rate just over 50%, only if you know how to play the game like the books do. I've spent the last 3 years reverse engineering how the pros actually win, and let me tell you, it was no picnic. I lost over $3,000 before I realized I had to unlearn every bad habit just to break even. So if you're done guessing and donating rent money to the bookies, this video's for you. Because I'm handing you the full blueprint, including the mindset shift sports books pray you never figure out. So don't just watch this like it's background noise. Use it before the books shut you down, and you never get close to that $1 million milestone. But hang on a second, I noticed that many of you aren't subscribed to the channel yet. So why don't you stop donating to the bookies and donate your subscription to this channel instead? But before we get to any of that, there's one thing most bettors don't quite understand yet. And until you do, you're basically just throwing darts in the dark. Because you see, the game is not about who wins. It's about whether the odds are wrong. So let me show you what that actually looks like. Say a sportsbook offers plus 300 on a team, but you know the real odds should be closer to plus 200. Plus 300 means you only need to win 1 out of 4 times to break even. And that's a 25% implied probability. But plus 200 implies a 33% chance. So if you bet plus 300, when the true odds are closer to plus 200, you're getting paid more than you should. That's what we call a positive expected value bet. Now, yeah, you're still betting on an underdog, and you're probably going to lose most of the time. But what if you bet $100 on that line 10 times and you end up winning 3 of them? That's $900 in total winnings and $700 in losses, leaving you with a $200 profit. And this is when sportsbooks start sweating, because now you know what to look for and you're starting to play the game the right way. And if you want to start making money now, I put together a step-by-step blueprint showing how I made my first $1,000 betting sports. You can steal the same system, start spotting sharp bets on your own, and stop relying on luck or TikTok picks. So if you're tired of losing every weekend, hit the link in the description and grab it. It's totally free. So now you're thinking, cool, plus EV bets are the goal. But how the hell do I actually find them? That's step 2 in our system. And here's how to think about it. Imagine you're buying a new TV. You check a few stores. Best Buy has it for $900. Amazon has it for $880. And suddenly, Walmart lists it for $600. Whoa, what? Either Walmart's running a crazy sale or they messed up big time. Whatever it is, you're definitely jumping on that deal. That's exactly how it works in sports betting. Each sportsbook uses its own algorithm, data sources, and let's be real, sometimes they just get it wrong. So, when 9 out of 10 books have a line at minus 140, but one rogue book is hanging minus 120, that's your Walmart TV moment. That's a clear pricing error. And if you catch it before it moves, you've got a positive expected value bet. Meanwhile, all the parlay princesses out there are still throwing 6-leg heaters based on TikTok trends. Which brings us to step 3. It's actually quite simple, but this is where most bettors tend to give up. Back when I started, I thought I was crushing it. I was betting every day and seeing a few big wins. I told myself I had an edge. Then one day, I actually checked the numbers. I pulled up my spreadsheet and saw I was down $632. How did that happen? Turns out, just because something shows up as plus EV, it doesn't mean it really is. So you might think you're making good bets, but you never actually check. That's why tracking matters. You need to see if you're consistently beating the closing line value. Because at the end of the day, that's your scoreboard. And don't worry, there's no need for anything fancy. You can use a simple Google Sheet or tools like JuiceReel, Pickit, or even the built-in OddsJam tracker. Regardless of which one you choose, you'll know you're on the right track to making a profit if you're beating the closing line value about 70% of the time. But now, you're probably wondering, how long will it take before I see more dollar signs in my account? That's where step 4 comes in. When you think about it, it's kind of like a snowball. It starts small, but as you roll it down the hill, it picks up momentum and more snow along the way. And eventually, that little snowball will turn into an avalanche. And the same goes for sports betting. You're stacking 3 to 5% edges, bet after bet, month after month. It doesn't feel exciting in the short term, but the results are ridiculous over time. So let's say you start with a $5,000 bankroll. You stick to 1% bet size, take 5 bets per day, and only take bets with at least 3% edge. Here's how the math plays out year by year. After a year, you've made $3,000, which I know doesn't seem like much, but after 6 years, you're finally able to hit the $10,000 per month milestone. and after 10 years, you're sitting at over $1 million. Sure, life happens, so you might withdraw one day, then deposit another time, or run into limits along the way. But when you stack small edges day after day, the growth adds up quickly. That's how sharp bettors steadily build real bankrolls. The problem is, most people can't stick with it. They get emotional, ditch the math, and go full Lock Daddy 69, chasing bangers and blaming bad beats. That's exactly why I built a private group, so we can hold each other accountable and stay locked in on what actually works. Because beating the sports books isn't a solo mission. We're up against billion-dollar algorithms, so if we're gonna win long-term, we've gotta move smart and move together. If that sounds like right up your alley, check the link in the description and come join us. But even with the right math and community to back you up, you can still mess up. I know I did, big time, and it all came down to one stupid mistake. Which brings us to step 5. So, Juventus were playing some bottom table Serie A team, and the line was around minus 105. It looked too good to be true. Top club, solid form, easy win, right? I went full send. Dropped my entire bankroll on it like a doofus with confidence issues. But what I didn't realize was that Juventus had already clinched the league. They rolled out the backups, and half the squad looked like they'd been out until 4 a.m. The game ended 1-1 and the game was dead. Well, so was my bankroll, and that's why bankroll management isn't optional. Some sharp bettors use the Kelly criterion to calculate their unit size. It's supposed to tell you how much to bet based on your edge. But full Kelly is aggressive, and unless you're an actual robot, you're most likely overestimating your edge. That's why most people use quarter Kelly, which is honestly still too much for me. So I suggest sticking to the golden range of 1 to 2% per bet, especially if you're serious about growing your cash. Because while the Kelly criterion looks great on paper, most bettors aren't running hedge funds. They're trying to stay disciplined, not impress their spreadsheet. But remember, bankroll management is not the end of the game. There's still one important mindset shift you need to make if you actually want to see 7 figures in your account. Because imagine this, someone dives into the stock market, throws half their money at some hype coin because it's going to the moon, and then acts shocked when it crashes to zero. That person would lose all of their money in a few weeks. And that's exactly how most people bet on sports. So if you don't treat betting like investing, you're for sure gonna lose. You wanna know what the pros do instead? They treat every bet like a trade. They look for value in the market, and they think in decades, not the big game on the weekend. So if you're starting from scratch, here's what you need to do. Set a bankroll, define your unit size, and only bet when there's actual value. Not because some fake guru said that his cousin played high school ball with the backup point guard and he's locked in for the game. Now, if you want to see the exact strategy I used to build long-term profit, click on this next video. It's not flashy, but it totally works. And it's the exact reason my bankroll keeps growing while most people are still trying to break even. I'll see you there.